Trek versus Giant bikes. This is what I want to talk about today. The video is inspired by the comment section from our previous video. It was absolutely insanely educational, to be honest. I sparked a debate. You added to that debate. We all learned something. And today I think we should review it and just continue that discussion. If you are a Windspace, build it yourself fan, there's something in here for you as well. Keep watching and add your experiences as well. So let's get into the presentation and I'll show you where my thinking is going on this. Now, I am going to mention Windspace in this. So if you're here for that sort of discussion, keep watching. I think you're going to find this pretty interesting. But the major thing today is the Trek versus Giant argument. And I think this is important right now because when there's an economic slowdown like we're experiencing, you take less risk with your money. When times are good, we tend to take a bit more risk, look at the smaller brands, look for something a bit more niche. But those smaller brands, some of them are really struggling right now. We've already seen Stanton in the UK disappear, sadly. And sometimes you look at those smaller brands thinking, actually, are they even going to exist the next couple of years? Is that warranty actually worth what it's written? And if that's in the back of your mind, then these two brands, I think, offer a pretty safe bet. But let me get into it and show you what I mean. Now, I put this chart up in the last video about the risk versus reward matrix, and the Giant bikes fell on the side of the safe pair of Marks and Spencer's underwear. They are completely fine bikes. We've seen some lemons, don't get me wrong, and we've seen lemons from every single brand, and we just tell you what to look out for. But generally speaking, what we see from Giant is just super safe, reliable. You get what you get. It's one of those brands that's actually quite easy to recommend. It's going to be absolutely fine. All I've said in the video is nothing in there that I really find inspiring. I think in the video we all just sort of decided that Scott was massively underrated, that Cannondale deserved to be here, probably a little bit more riskier than that even, because of some of its crazy proprietary stuff. But generally speaking, I think the discussion went really well. But this putting Trek above Giant, oh my God, did that spark some debate. So let's get into it and see what we discover. I want to start here with road biking, mostly because I get the impression that most of this audience are roadies or roadies and mountain bikers. We are going to talk about the entire range, but I want to start with the Trek Madone SL. In fact, this is actually inspired by one of the comments where they said, my wife owns a Madone, I own the Propel. I think you get much more for your money on the Propel, and you get the integrated aero bars and Di2, and you get this better deeper section carbon wheel, and this is the Madone. These have both got the Ultegra 11-speed group set. I'm just going to put it to you, what would you rather have? If you walked into a room and someone said, hey, choose a bike, which one do you want? Okay, put it in the comments, you tell me. So this gets slightly more complicated when we look at some of the more niche brands. Now, Ribble is a UK brand. They started off as a bike shop. They started importing their own frames, actually started making their own frames at some point. And now they have grown that out, and they've now started to actually have some of their own proprietary frames as well. And this is their Madone killer, if you want. This is what they're trying to go up against. This is the 11-speed mechanical group set still, their aero bike at 4,699 quid. So £100 more than the Madone. Again, what would you rather have? The sort of the magical, mythical unicorn in here, which looks too good to be true, is this brand offering £3,050 for a similar bike, to be honest. Carbon wheels, Shimano Di2 group set, aero bars, for almost £1,500 cheaper than the competition. And I'm just putting up there, this is what we're trying to talk about, that red triangle, what we're trying to warn you against. If you think that these magical, mythical unicorns exist, you're probably going to get stung. That's all I'm saying. Okay, here is the Windspace argument. Now, I have never seen one of these in the flesh, but I've seen lots and lots of YouTubers whom I respect greatly talk very, very highly of them. And I can't say that, £1,300 for a frame of that sort of quality is an outstanding bargain. There's a dealer network in the UK. I've mentioned that in a previous video. Some of you have mentioned it in the comments as well. There's a lot of things going for this. The Lund Hyper wheels at £990. I'm still on the fence as a bike mechanic on the carbon spoke thing. I can't help it. We see repairs day in, day out, and I can't help feeling that at the moment, carbon spokes is a pretty bad idea, but crack on. And the Shimano Ultegra group set on sale right now, Merlin Cycles at just under 800 quid. Now, that, by the way, is a fantastic deal. If you're in the market, that is, brilliant. So that all comes to 3,089 quid. You've got to add your own finishing kit and tyres. I haven't put this on because the likelihood is that you've probably got some of this that you're going to transfer from a previous bike, that sort of thing. But if you were building completely from scratch, I think you need to add another £500 to £600 worth of stuff there just to bring it up to a sort of a similar sort of standard. Now, again, I'm going to what would you rather have? Now, that is a significant saving over those brands I've just shown you, but the state of the cycling industry at the moment means that this is on the cards. This is the Trek Madone SL6, £1,000 off, £3,839 in stock, ready to go from J.E. James Cycles right now. I don't know about you. I'm all over that. What would you rather have? Put it down in the comments. Let me know. Right. Moving on, mountain bikes. This is the whole Trek versus Giant. What would you rather have? Mountain bike range, Super Caliber 9.7. This is race pedigree stuff. I've only ever worked on one of these. I haven't actually ridden one, but they're really nice. They're really nice bikes. They're quite inspiring. And this is the Anthem Advance. I've ridden these plenty of times. This is a solid, reliable choice. You can't really go wrong with it. If you're not really that techie minded, you could walk in, put your money down on one of these. You won't be disappointed. They're absolutely fine. But what would you rather have? That Super Caliber 9.7, I think is just rather nice. What about gravel bikes? This is the new Trek Checkpoint. Look at that, those drop stays, tuck that back wheel in, shorten that geometry a little bit, beefed up that fork, SRAM, E-tap, on both of these. The Giant's a bit more expensive. Again, tell me, what would you rather have? What would you rather have? This is the e-bike range. This is the Trek Fuel 9.5 versus the Trance X E+1. Actually, a very quick word on e-bikes. Now, the big brands are stepping away from the big branded motors, which makes the whole thing pretty complicated because service centres like us, we tend to only get training and access to parts for like Bosch, Shimano, Fazua, Yamaha. You get the idea. And when specialized Trek Giants start using their own proprietary motors, the spare parts get locked behind. We have to go to a dealer, and most of the time the dealers don't want to sell us parts to fix those. They say take it to a dealer. Yeah, rightly so. It is what it is. Hopefully that the Right to Repair Act that's going through is going to start changing that situation. I don't think it's right. The biggest problem with this is if you're going to buy one of these off the internet and you're going to have to find a way to get that bike to a dealer, and they will need servicing and fixing by a dealer. So if you brought a Trek bike and you own a small car, you live in a city or whatever, you've got to somehow try and find a way to get that to a dealer for its servicing, which I think is a problem for a lot of people actually, because these are heavy. It's not the sort of thing that you can just put in the back of a hatch bike and drive into town. It's, there's a pretty beefy size to those. So yeah, just bear that in mind, I think. Okay. The The area that I think that Giant actually wins completely, hands down, not even in the same ballpark, is kids' bikes. This is the 26-inch wheel, kids' bike. Look at that, rim brakes, solid fork. At this age, this is like early teens. This is, what would you rather have? Like, this is the Giant offering here. Look at this, like Maxxis tyres, they're good, they're wide. There's a decent amount of gears on there as well. Disc brakes, a RockShox fork, a slacker head angle. Brilliant. That's the sort of bike that an early teens rider is gonna enjoy. This isn't gonna do it. At the 20-inch wheel, this is the really impressionable age for kids. This is where kids are either going to get into cycling or not, and the Trek offering is really uninspiring. Compare that to the Giant offering. Look at that, those Kenda tyres, wide, confidence-inspiring tyres, wide gears, disc brakes. I don't think that front fork is offering any massive advantage over this one at this sort of range, but this is the bike. It looks like mum and dad's bike. It's great. What would you rather have if you were that age? I know what I'd be. Okay. That's the end of the presentation. Let me know what you think. Again, get into those comments. Let me know. These comments are so important, and I'm really enjoying making this content of keeping me entertained anyway while the World Cup is on. This is just a whole lot more interesting for the whole lot of us, just to talk about bikes and teach each other what we know. Right, we are off to Peebles for 3 days worth of mountain biking in the Scottish borders. I'm going to try and do a bit of a vlog while we're up there. We've also got a titanium bike coming up on the channel as well, which is going to be uploaded on Sunday. So please, if you haven't subscribed already, it'd be really great if you would. And I am really looking forward to your comments as I drive up to Scotland. Have a great weekend, everyone. Take it easy.